Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm your friend Arman. So today in this video we're gonna discuss about the Indian national movements. So Indian national movements are really important portion of GK which we cannot avoid at any cost. So when it's come to the judicial service exam, the Indian national movements again becomes really important. So that's why please stick to the video till the end. But before I begin, please subscribe to my channel, hit the like button and press the bell icon also so that you get notified for the further updates. Okay, and those who are asking me for the Assamese paper how to read, they have a problem with Assamese language. They couldn't understand the Assamese. So those students who wanted to know about the Assamese or who want to take the coaching for the Assamese paper particularly, then they can contact me. Okay, I will be providing you the coaching. I have a team with me, so my team will teach you and I will also be there. I will also take some of your classes and my team will teach you. So they are really good in Assamese, so they will definitely make you perfect in Assamese. Okay, so for more information you can connect with me through Instagram. Do find the link in the description box. Okay, or apart from that, if you want to connect with me through other medium, then I will give you my phone number and as well as my email ID in the description box. Do find that. Okay, so guys, without any further delay, let's start today's video. Indian national movements or the movements for the independence had started from 1857. So we should know that at 1857 is the one of the most important year. Okay, so 1857 is by the Indian historian, it is called as the first war of independence. Okay, and by the British historian it calls the Sepoy mutiny. Okay, Sepoy mutiny, Sipahi Bidroh. I think you all are familiar with the term Sepoy mutiny. Okay, then the Sepoy mutiny was started because of Mangal Pandey. Okay, Mangal Pandey was the leader who started the revolt. Okay, so why the Sepoy mutiny took place? The question now, the question is that, so Sepoy mutiny started because of the introduction of the cartridges which was greased in the fat of the pig and cows. Okay, and when it's come to the pig and cow, this is a cow is very holy thing for us. Okay, for all the Hindu people, the cow is very holiest thing. And when it's come to the pig, a pig is also like we can say we are many people, many Hindu families do not consume pigs. So that's why the fat of the cows, it's fat of the cows, if we eat, then it is completely against the rule of the law, say, or the rule of the Hinduism. Okay, so that's why, like, since the Mangal Pandey was a Hindu person, he was an Indian, so that's why he refrained from using such cartridges which was greased in the fat of the cow and pigs. Okay, I think you know it very well. So he was the person. Okay, and because of the introduction of that cartridges, like, he was very angry. He got very angry and he influences many people. I mean, his fellow troops. Okay, he influences fellow troops, and they created the squad that and they thought of fighting against the Britishers. Okay, fighting against the Britishers. Okay, so that's why in the 1857 the Sepoy mutiny was started. Okay, it started from the Meerut. Okay, it started from the Meerut. And what happened, like, when the Britishers, British personnel were marched to the Delhi. Okay, when the British personnel were going to the Delhi, they were attacked by the squad of Mangal Pandey. Okay, by the squad of the Mangal Pandey, and they massacred all the Britishers. Okay, they massacred all the Britishers. I mean, the one who were in the march. Okay, so they killed all of them. Okay, so the moment they killed all of them, then the Sepoy mutiny took place. So that is so from that time, all the Sepoys who have joined hands with the Mangal Pandey and they revolt against the Britishers. Okay, so then the Sepoy mutiny started. Okay, like, their agenda was that, like, they wanted to they were saying that they proclaimed, actually, so they proclaimed that the Britishers are not the the emperor of India. They proclaimed that the Bahadur Shah too is the emperor of India. Okay, they proclaimed that Bahadur Shah should be the emperor of India. So it was their narrative. Okay, then what happened, Mangal Pandey was killed by the British army. Okay, he was killed by the British army. Okay, so in the War of Independence, the role of the we can say the heroine of the first War of Independence was Rani Lakshmi Bai. Okay, of Jhansi. She was the most courageous or say brave lady of India. She fought against the British and she fell down along with her Tatya Tope, Nana Sahib, and the troops of the Nana Sahib force. So all of them fell down against the Britishers. Okay, so in that way the first war of independence ended. Okay, so the main reason behind this failure of the first war of independence, it is because of the disunity, because the kings of the other kingdoms were reluctant to help the other kings who are being suppressed by the Britishers. Okay, so that's why the first war of independence was failed. Okay, so the moment when the Sepoy mutiny got over, then the first step taken by the Queen Victoria was that she proclaimed herself as the Empress of India. Okay, since the Mangal Pandey group or say squad has proclaimed Bahadur Shah II as the Emperor of India, so that's why she became the Empress of India in 1858. She issued the proclamation, okay, in 1858. So year of 1858 is very important, 1858. Okay, so 1858 Victoria became the Empress of India. Okay, Empress of India. And what she did, okay, and she hired the first Governor General of India. Okay, she hired the first you say Viceroy. At that time it was called Viceroy. Okay, Viceroy or Governor General. Okay, so she hired the first appointed the first Governor General of India, and he was Lord Canning. Okay, Lord Canning. So Lord Canning was the first Viceroy of India. So he was appointed in the year 1858. Okay, so this is how the first war of independence ended. Okay, and thereafter for so many years there was nothing. Okay, there were nothing for so many years. Everything was silent, and India was run by the Britishers only completely. So Indian National Congress gets birth in 1885. So it is completely after 28 years of the Sepoy mutiny. Okay, so it started under the leadership of the A.O. Hume. Okay, A.O. Hume. Okay, so at that time the Governor General of India was Lord Dufferin. Okay, I don't know why they were called Lord Dufferin. So Lord Dufferin. So at that time the Lord Dufferin was the Governor General of India. Okay, so remember that these names are really important. This can be asked in the exam. Who was the Lord who was the Viceroy or say who was the Governor General of India at the time of the birth of Indian National Congress? So this kind of question may be asked. And who was the founder of the Indian National Congress? Then A.O. Hume was the founder of the Indian National Congress. Okay, so he started the Indian National Congress for the unity of India. Okay, so after the inception of the Indian National Congress in 1885, there were no steps were taken by them. This organization was completely silent, doing nothing. Obviously, because the entire thing was under the control of the Britishers only, so they were helpless to do anything. But the outbreak of the First World War, when the First World War took place, so the First World War took place in 1914 to 1918. So it is for the 4 years. Okay, 1914 to 1918. Okay, so the outbreak of the First World War, that gives the rise to the Indian national movements. Okay, after the First World War, many of the Indian revolutionaries joined the hands with the Germany to fight against the England. Okay, one of the revolutionaries was that he was a Tamil boy, a young Tamil boy, and his name was Champak Raman, and he was the president of the International Pro-India Committee. Okay, remember that. Okay, International Pro-India Committee. Okay, so International Pro-India Committee. So president of the International Pro-India Committee was Champak Raman. Okay, He was one of the revolutionists, okay, and he went to the Berlin to work under the German forces, okay, and he started Indian National Party in Germany, and which was compiled to the German General Staff, okay. And in 1915 the Annie Besant comes, okay, the role of Annie Besant is started, okay. So the Annie Besant comes with her two newspaper, that was Commonwealth and the New India, okay, and along with she started doing the conferences and meeting, and her demand was that the India should be given the self-government, okay. So it was her demand, okay. And in 1916 the Tilak started the Home Rule League, okay, and again, and at the same time she also came, okay, Annie Besant also came with her own, so she also came with her own Home Rule League with the help of George Arundel, and he was the secretary of her Home Rule League, okay. So now then India had two Home Rule League, okay. One was by Tilak, Home Rule League, I mean Bal Gangadhar Tilak, and another was by Annie Besant, her sort of Home Rule League, okay. And it was with the help of George Arundel, and he became the secretary of the Home Rule League, okay. She also organized the Theosophical Society at Adyar, okay. Adyar is a place where the Theosophical Society was created by her, okay. So now we have the two Home Rule League. One was led by the Annie Besant and another was led by the Tilak. But however, their area of activity was demarcated. Okay, so demarcation was took place in the Belgaum meeting. Okay, Belgaum. Okay, Belgaum is the important word here. Belgaum. So it is a place in Karnataka right now, okay. So in the Belgaum meeting they have decided their area of activity, and they are working separately but in cooperation, okay, with the same motto, okay. The both of the team, I mean say both of the groups has the same motive, that they wanted the self government, okay. So in that meeting only the Bal Gangadhar Tilak has announced that, or say he has given the narrative that Swaraj is my birthright and I will have it, okay. And again he also given another narrative, that is, don't ask for the crumbs, ask for the whole bread, okay. So what is crumbs? I think crumbs you are very familiar with when we take out the pieces of the bread, the residue, okay, like the some small portion of the residue breads, so those are called crumbs, okay. The crumbs, CRUMBS, okay. This kind of words may be asked in the English, okay, as a synonym, antonym, okay. So remember that. So crumbs is a food, okay. Crumb is a food, a part of a bread, okay, a part of a bread. Then the role of Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru come, okay. He joined both the home rule of the Annie Besant as well as the home rule of the Bal Gangadhar Tilak, okay. And in 1916 what happened? In 1916 the Bal Gangadhar Tilak joined the session of the Indian National Congress of Lucknow session, okay. It was a Lucknow session of Indian National Congress in 1916 with Annie Besant as well as Bipin Chandra Pal, and they secured the control of the Indian National Congress in that meeting, okay, in that conference, alright. So then comes the Gandhian era, okay. So during the time of First World War 1914 to 1918, nationalism gathered its forces, okay. Then the Mohandas Karamchand Gandhi, Mahatma Gandhi, he was born in 2 October 1869 at Porbandar, Saurashtra, Gujarat. And he proceeded to England in 1888 and returned as a barrister in law. Then he proceeded to South Africa and he fought for the Indian National Congress, and he also come up with a newspaper called Indian Opinion with a view to educating Indians in the political matters, okay. And he returned to the India in 1915 and he was very warmly welcomed, okay. So after returning, his first involvement was in the Champaran, Bihar, okay, and second was the Kheda, okay. And Gandhiji organized the satyagraha and asked the cultivators to not to pay any land revenue to the Britishers, and because of this satyagraha only there was a compromise between the Britishers and the farmers. Then comes the Jallianwala Bagh massacre, okay. So in the Jallianwala Bagh massacre that took place in the 13 April 1919 at afternoon in Amritsar, Punjab. Okay, so Jallianwala Bagh was a garden and that is situated, that located in the Punjab. Okay, and despite the ban on the public meeting, still the meeting was conducted. Okay, so at that time during the meeting, what happened? Michael O'Dwyer, the lieutenant governor, at that time the lieutenant governor was the Michael O'Dwyer. He took the control of the troops and ordered the troops to fire to all the peoples at the meeting. Okay, so how so many peoples, so many Indian peoples were died at that massacre. Okay, so as a measure of protest, what the Rabindranath Tagore did, Rabindranath Tagore renounces his knighthood. Okay, a title given to him by the Britishers. He renounced that. Okay, and again Mahatma Gandhi has also renounced his medal Kesarai-Hind. It was given by the Britishers. Okay, at the Boer War. Okay, so in this way the massacre got finished. Okay, the massacre got finished. So after the Jallianwala Bagh massacre 1919, in 1920 Gandhiji started again the non-cooperation movement. 1920 non-cooperation movement started by the Mahatma Gandhi. Okay, on the same day the Bal Gangadhar Tilak died. Okay, with a message that unless the Swaraj is achieved, India shall not prosper. It is important for our existence. Okay, I have written that here, like unless the Swaraj is achieved, India shall not prosper. It is required for our existence. Okay, so this kind of quotation may be asked in the exam. Okay, so remember that it is said by the Tilak. Okay, Bal Gangadhar Tilak. All right. So Mahatma Gandhi withdraw that non-cooperation movement. We all know that what was the non-cooperation movement. I'm not going to the details. So if I go to the detail, it will be the long video. So that's why to summarize, the Mahatma Gandhi withdraw this non-cooperation movement when the angry crowd burned the police station at the Chauri Chaura, UP. So after the end of the non-cooperation movement, the second step taken by the Indian National Congress was the Lahore Conference. Okay, the Lahore Conference was held by the end of the 1929. Okay, so in the Lahore Conference, the Congress has took the resolution for the Purna Swaraj of India. Okay, so in that meeting, in 31st December 1929, Jawaharlal Nehru unfurled the Indian national flag, that was the tricolor, in the bank of the river Ravi. Okay, it is very important. The first unfurling of the Indian national flag was held in 1929, 31st December at the bank of Ravi. So after the Lahore Conference, then Mahatma Gandhi conducted the civil disobedience movement that took place in 1930 to 1931. Remember that. Okay, this date is really important, 1930 to 31. Okay, so it can be said one of the most important measures taken by the Mahatma Gandhi. So what happened at that time, like he asked all the Indians not to pay the land revenue. He also conducted the like Dandi March against the salt law. I think you all know what was the Dandi March and all that. So he also asked all the Indians to boycott the foreign products like Khadi movement. So many of the movement he has started at that within that year. Okay, as a result, Gandhi-Irwin Pact was signed in 1931. Okay, 1931 Gandhi-Irwin Pact was signed. Okay, so after the signing of the Gandhi-Irwin Pact, the civil disobedience movement gets ended. Okay, so after the civil disobedience movement, the Bardoli Satyagraha started. Okay, so there was a conflict between the peasantry and the British government. Okay, the British government wanted to increase the land revenue, but the peasantry, or say farmers or the cultivators, are not willing to pay that. So as a result, they started protesting. So at that time, the role of the Vallabhbhai Patel come. Okay, the Vallabhbhai Patel take the side of the peasantry and started protesting against the Britishers. And what happened? As a result, they got success, and as a consequence, he started he started to be called as a Sardar. Okay, so after that, Bardoli Satyagraha, the Vallabhbhai Patel became the Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel. Okay, remember that, Bardoli Satyagraha and Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel. Okay, then after Bardoli Satyagraha, what happened? The Quit India movement were launched by the Indian National Congress in 1942 with a view to compel the Britishers to give more power to the Indians to rule the country, to have the self-governance and all that. So as a result, cabinet mission came to India to evolve a consensus on the constitutional questions. In 1945, when Mr. Attlee became the Prime Minister from the Labour Party of the England, then he thought of giving the fulfilling the dream of the Indians for the freedoms. Okay, so as a result, the Lord Mountbatten, who was the Governor General of India at that time, So he was asked to prepare a plan for giving the independence to the India. So accordingly he made the plan and he introduced the bill in the parliament, in the British Parliament on 3rd of June 1947. Okay, so accordingly the bill was passed, and after that India got independence in 1947 15th of August, and Pakistan also got independence in 14th of August 1947 itself. Okay, so thereafter India became the independent country, and India became sovereign socialist secular democratic republic on 26 January 1950. Okay, alright guys, this is the end of this video. I hope you find this video informative. Please give it a thumbs up, and if you have any queries, doubt, comment down below, or you can follow me on Instagram. Okay, so I'll see you in the next video. Till then, take care of yourself, stay blessed, bye bye.